How we doing, everybody? So today's video is all about editing, and specifically editing a cinematic sequence. Now, I just finished going on a trip to British Columbia, and I took this video that I'm really proud of and I had a lot of fun making, but I don't want you guys to be thinking of this as like, oh, how to edit a travel film, because these tips that I'm going to be giving you can be applied to any type of video you're working on, regardless of whether it's a commercial, regardless of whether it's a travel video, a vlog, anything of the sort. So here I'm going to be giving 4 of my top suggestions, things that I wish I knew and things that I wish I applied when I was just starting out, and things that I often see people making mistakes in. So these are very common things that I've been improving on and I'm still working on, and that I'm trying to implement into my workflow so that I'm able to step up my game and just get a little bit better when it comes to editing a video like this. And even though this video is not tied into that travel film that I put together, I will be referencing that video a lot. So if you haven't seen it, take a look at it. Let me know what you guys think. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get into some of those tips. Tip number 1 is to know your footage inside and out. Now, this suggestion goes into the entire process, right from the beginning when you're shooting the video and all the way to the end when you're piecing it together. Because as you're shooting your video, you should be copying your footage over to like hard drives and really labeling those hard drives well based off of the date or maybe the event or in some way, shape, or form, so that you know exactly what is in those folders. That way you're not confused and you're not looking around for something that you did on Thursday, but you're looking inside of Friday's folder or the folder that's just labeled video or everything folder. Don't do that. It might seem like you're saving time when you just do that because it's really easy and you're just dragging and dropping everything over into one single folder, but eventually it's going to catch up with you and you're going to find yourself just really frustrated and you're going to not be able to find all of the clips that you want, and that would be a real shame. Either that or later on you have to go ahead and organize those folders later on, clip by clip, video by video, and it's going to take you way longer than if you just do it straight out of camera, directly into the folders, and then format your card right afterwards. And while you're editing the video, don't just start cutting and putting pieces together until you've seen all of the footage, and I mean all of it. It might sound redundant, it might sound frustrating, but you're going to get better results if you know what's inside of every single one of those clips. And you might be thinking, hey, wait a second, I shot the footage. I know exactly what's in here. I don't need to look at it all. Yes, you do. There are plenty of times and examples that I can think of where I thought I had a great shot, and then I look back at it and it's out of focus, or it's too noisy and there was not enough light, or my exposure was just so off, and there's nothing I can do about it now. But there's also times where I thought that the shot I took was not very good, and maybe I didn't even realize I was recording, and I caught this really candid moment that I didn't even know I captured. These sort of things happen all the time, but you won't really know and you won't be able to see and find these things until you actually watch every single one of your clips. And that might sound really overwhelming, but trust me, it is worth it. One of the things that I do that I find really works is I use multiple timelines while I'm editing. In DaVinci Resolve, you can actually click on these different tabs that have different timelines and just search through and scrub through all your footage. And then you're able to find things much quicker, and you're able to be a lot more efficient and be able to nitpick a lot better. Before I started using a laptop, I had a nice big monitor, and what I would do is I did something that's called pancake editing. I don't know why they call it that, but apparently it's called pancakes. Now I really want pancakes. Essentially what pancake editing is that there are actually 2 timelines that are stacked on top of each other, and you're able to take these different clips and you're able to drag and drop them into different parts of your timeline. I really like that workflow. I just don't use it that often anymore because my screen is just not big enough. But that's just another suggestion that's able to really help you if you are trying to edit and you're just trying to see all of your footage in an effective and efficient way. My second tip for editing is, well, it's actually not for editing, it's actually for shooting. When you are shooting your video, you really do need to shoot for an edit. You have to be planning out your shots and thinking through things that you might be doing. Maybe you're wanting to do some sort of a crazy transition or some sort of an effect. You can't just expect that if you drag and drop these clips into a timeline that magically appear together and they're gonna seamlessly go and move together. No, you have to plan these sort of things out and know what your shots are going to be like. For example, I had this effect where I'm pointing the camera down at my feet and I'm walking and I'm showing all these different terrains that as I'm moving and I'm taking different steps, I'm cutting to different locations. And I think this turned out pretty good. Not as well as I expected or as I hoped, but I had to be thinking of that idea from the very start. I couldn't just expect that I would have these shots magically in there. So shoot the video with an edit in mind. Shoot your videos with certain effects and ideas that you have in place. Make sure you have some sort of a plan in place, and you're gonna get much better and cleaner results if you do it that way. Also, if you do this, you're going to have a better story library in mind. You're going to have a better idea of the sort of shots that you're going to be needing. If you're needing to tell like a nice beginning, middle, and end, if you have that planned out from the start, you're not just kind of making it up as you go along. I've done it before where I just kind of shoot a whole bunch of footage and then I have to kind of piece it together and find some sort of edit later on. And it does work, and I don't mind that, but it takes far too long. And so if you can plan out and if you can shoot a video knowing exactly what the edit is going to look like, you're going to get better results. My third tip is audio. Don't skimp out on audio. Make sure you have really good sound effects and take your time and find the right music. It takes me hours sometimes to find music, and it might feel like you're wasting time because you're just hearing songs after songs after songs that just are not perfect. But if you have a specific catalog or a specific subscription like I do to Artlist, links in the description down below, if you know your catalog and you know your music library really well, then next time you go to find a song for your next project, you already have an idea of different songs and different sounds that are already there, and you're going to reap the benefits from that later on if you have actually taken the time and gone through a music library properly. Music is such a powerful thing. You don't want to skimp out on it. You don't want to rush that process. It is the backbone of an edit like this. And we process audio far faster than we process our visuals. So make sure you take a good amount of time to find the right music, as well as sound effects. Listen, I already did a video specifically talking about different sound effects, but I think that it's important that I just mentioned that you really take the time and find the right sound effects and really dial in the sound effects that you're going to be using. And my very last tip is when you are doing an edit like this, you have to kill some babies. When I say you have to kill your babies, I'm talking about different shots. There's plenty of times where you're going to shoot something that will have real sentimental value, or you'll think that it looks really cool and you want to show the entire thing. But listen, if your pacing is off, or if it's just technically not right, if I were to just slap in a clip of Vancouver because I really like it and has big sentimental value to me, but that looks just so out of place compared to the rest of the edit where I'm showing off the islands, well then I'm ruining the rest of the video. I'm ruining the visual experience because I wanted this clip. I wanted to shove this in there somehow, and it would have just ruined the pacing. It would have ruined the mood, and it was not appropriate for me to include in the edit. So sometimes you have to kill some babies. Sometimes you have to shorten the clips that you're really proud of or that you really like. On this trip, I shot over 4 hours of footage, and the entire video is less than 2 minutes long. A lot of footage that I was really proud of ended up being on the cutting floor. Even though these shots might be really precious to you and you might really like them, you have to kill some babies to actually be able to make a successful video. But those are just some of my tips and my suggestions as you are cutting a video like this. Make sure you like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you're getting those notifications. You know, do all that jazz. And I will see you next time. Take care. And I have 4 specific, that's 3.